We are facing a critical juncture in the post-Cold War era. The dynamics of the international order are becoming increasingly complex. We continue to see elements of instability and uncertainty undermining the international order. For example, the US-China strategic competition is intensifying. We have to work hard on economic recovery after a 3-year-long COVID-19 pandemic. And the rules of free trade are challenged and supply chains are being reshaped. We have witnessed even the invasion of a sovereign state in the Ukraine war. Under these challenges, the ROK government intends to prepare for the future in a proactive manner with an exact understanding of the changes taking place in the global order. The ROK rose up from the ruins of the Korean War in the 1950s. We have achieved industrialization and transformed ourselves into a mature liberal democracy. The international community acknowledges the ROK's success stories in diverse areas such as semiconductors, batteries, bioindustry, nuclear energy, and indeed of its soft power, pop culture, Blackpink, and BTS. And in return, outside people expect the ROK to play more role, make more contributions. So ROK government, as a responsible member of the global community, intends to pursue international cooperation based on a global perspective. The ROK will safeguard the rule of law, freedom and human rights, these values, in solidarity with the international community, based on these universal norms. To this end, we will strengthen our cooperation with ASEAN countries and align our projects, policies, programs with ASEAN's priorities, and further expand our diplomacy into the broader Indo-Pacific region. And the Republic of Korea's strategy for free, peaceful, and prosperous Indo-Pacific region, shortened as the Indo-Pacific strategy, initially announced in November last year at the ASEAN ROK summit in Phnom Penh, but further elaborated on in details in December last year. That underscores ROK's commitment to increase its role and contribution in the region as a global pivotal state. So this strategy places a special emphasis on ASEAN, which is at the heart of the Indo-Pacific, as ROK's key partner in building peace and prosperity in the whole Indo-Pacific region. To put our commitment into action, the ROK launched Korea-ASEAN Solidarity Initiative. We call it KASI. It's a core part of the broader Indo-Pacific strategy, targeted specifically on ASEAN region. That builds on the existing solid partnership with ASEAN and spanning trade, economy, and social-cultural areas. It works towards fostering a more comprehensive partnership that encompasses cooperation in security as well as future and emerging areas. So last year, we contributed $16 million to the Korea-ASEAN Cooperation Fund. It is $16 million. And this year, we committed to providing $20 million already. So in 2027, as my president committed, it will be doubled to $32 million. The second cooperation fund is with Mekong. The Korea-Mekong Cooperation Fund will be doubled from this year's $5 million to $10 million in 2027. And the last one is Korea BIMP Fund. BIMP means the acronyms of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. It will be doubled from $3 million this year to $6 million in 2027. So all totaled to $48 million in 2027. So this symbolizes Korea's very strong commitment to enhancing our substantive, practical cooperation partnership with ASEAN countries. Yeah, we already discussed so many diverse challenges from political security area through economic trade, future technologies, climate change, social-cultural challenges even. So we cannot prioritize one challenge over the other. It's very difficult because this is a complex crisis or challenges we face. For example, if we focus on only U.S.-China strategic competition, I think we'll be overwhelmed in terms of our resources and energy, manpower. So we'll be insufficient to deal with the other imminent challenges of climate change crisis. And imagine, remember the three key agenda items before Indonesia's G20 summit, which were response to the pandemic, coronavirus. Second was energy transition toward the clean energy. And the third one was digitalization, digital transformation. So all these issues are extremely important. These are three key items on the Indonesian G20 agenda. Did not discuss other political security or economic security issues. But yet all these challenges are extremely important. For ASEAN, as I hear from ASEAN colleagues, Secretariat and other ambassadors, even partner countries with ASEAN, they feel all these issues are very important. These issues cannot be solved by a single country or two countries. We should have the united, comprehensive approach to tackle all these issues. These issues are, in a sense, intimately related between and among each other. So we have to have a holistic approach to tackle these challenges. Yeah, I think the major power rivalry has been in the international politics over the years. This is not new in a sense. We have lived through the Cold War period between Soviet Union and the United States, which alarmed us with a nuclear nightmare. But now the U.S.-China rivalry, in a sense, it's lesser in terms of intensity than those crises we have experienced. Or others say that it bodes ill for our future in the 21st century because it's a more comprehensive, but albeit not open confrontation, open conflict yet. But it has a lot of serious aspects affecting our life in the political, security, economic, trade, social, cultural domains. But yet, both countries have maintained their communication channels all the time. And over the past 2-3 years, when the crisis seems to loom large, President Biden, President Xi regularly talk to each other. Last year in the G20 summit meeting, in the margins of that, they carried out the in-person meeting, which was possible only in 3 years after the coronavirus was receding. And also their diplomatic and security brains at the senior level have maintained very close communication. And the President Biden said he wanted to maintain not only this communication, but also guardrail so that the rivalry would not veer into open conflict. So at the policymakers level, at the highest level of both countries, are very keen to manage this strategic rivalry in a responsible manner. China also, although they do not say guardrail or responsible manner, but their attitudes, their actions show that they are also very sensitive to manage this rivalry very skillfully, very diplomatically. And ASEAN, Korea have an important role to play in lessening this strategic competition or making both countries, the United States and China, deal with their bilateral affairs, also regional global affairs in a better way. So we, ASEAN, talk about these challenges together with other challenges in various ASEAN-led mechanisms, such as we mentioned, the EAS, ARF, and ASEAN plus one country mechanism, also ASEAN plus three of Korea, Japan, and China. So we try to utilize all these regional architecture to cope with these challenges, including U.S.-China strategic rivalry. Yeah, Myanmar issue is one of the big challenges we, Korea and ASEAN members jointly face. Also, international community shares a deep concern over the developments in Myanmar because it touches on the fundamental values of human rights and democracy and rule of law. We've been supporting ASEAN's initiatives, ASEAN's own efforts to cope with this challenge and to resolve this matter since the coup d'etat in Myanmar erupted in early 2021. And the efforts have been going on, and there are some criticism, of course, from the public, and that we have not, reached some tangible progress, a tangible solution of this matter, even not, make a very visible progress, substantial progress so far. But I think, as we hear from ASEAN colleagues, they've been working very, very hard because it's related to their credibility and their also their position in the international community. So under the Indonesian chairmanship this year, we are confident that ASEAN has renewed its commitment and its efforts to tackle the Myanmar crisis. Now it's April, almost late March, and we hear that Indonesian government has been working very, very hard behind the scenes. This is not the time for the Indonesian chair or other ASEAN member states to come up. I think it's premature. I am confident that Indonesia will make good contributions to the solution of the Myanmar crisis. We hear a lot that Indonesian Foreign Ministry has been working in many ways to urge the Myanmar junta to make progress in the democratization, ending violence, and arranging humanitarian assistance, all these issue areas of the 5-point consensus. I'm not pessimistic, although today we have not resolved this matter, but we may need more time because this is a very complex issue rooted deeply in history, nationality issues, also regional politics in Southeast Asia. So I'm still optimistic. And Korea, of course, is in full cooperation with ASEAN in the implementation of a 5-point consensus. And also we ourselves, we condemned Myanmar junta's recalcitrance in implementing 5-point consensus, and we imposed some elements of sanctions together with the international community.